All right, I am back. My mustache is not back. It was a one-time only thing. Probably for the best. I think we can all agree. But anyways, back to Destiny videos as usual with Evie and her butt in the background. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that I will likely revisit a couple times over the course of this extremely long season, Savathun. Whether this is Savathun Watch or not, I guess I don't know if I'll actually call it that because she's not really moving. But she is going to be talking to us every week for the foreseeable future, it seems. So we'll see what she kind of comes up with when this is all said and done. But the fundamental question we have to ask ourselves here is, can we trust Savathun and like anything she's saying? She just changed the camera on my controller. Okay, Evie's gaming. The obvious answer to that question would probably be no. She is the queen of lies after all, although she does make the point that it's just kind of other people that call her the queen of lies. And she's like, can you trust those people? Granted, she has lied to us a lot, namely posing as Osiris for an entire year. So she's not making a great case there. But so even though it seems pretty clear that we can't trust Savathun, I think this is a more complicated question than it appears. And it kind of plays into kind of what we know about the Witch Queen and what's going on right now. Right now, the current plan is Mara has Savathun trapped. We have made a deal with Savathun where we will extract her worm, and she will give us the real Osiris back. This seems stupid. And yet, Mara's plan is, once Savathun's worm is gone, she will no longer be effectively immortal and not have a throne world, so we will be able to kill her. Mara comes off as kind of stupid here because, like, obviously I think Savathun would understand what happens when that happens. And it seems like we're kind of leading to the point where inevitably we do extract her worm, but the point of that is that allows Savathun to acquire the light because she is no longer infested by the darkness. So I don't really have faith that Mara knows what's going on or Mara has some master plan. I do have faith that Savathun has some master plan, and yet it might not be the one that we anticipate. So we kind of know the end result of this. You know, we're going to take the worm out. Savathun gets the light. Savathun gives the light to her hive in her throne world, the Lucent Brood. What is weird about this is, so she keeps her throne world, even though she doesn't have a worm anymore, so I don't really know what happened there. But because Mara thinks she won't have a throne world if we take the worm out. And then, but the hive that have the light are only within her throne world. So I don't know if this is like a what happens in the throne world stays in the throne world thing, and this is like Savathun's like fantasy vision of what it'll be like if she can like take the light outside of her throne room, or what. But I am also not fundamentally convinced that Savathun is even the villain of the Witch Queen. We have gotten kind of the point of this entire year has been learning that we can kind of trust people that we think are our enemies and they can become our allies. We started with Crow, and that's a little like cheating because it's not really Uldren. It's a new person who forgot all about who Uldren was in the first place. And yet, fundamentally still, it's kind of the same thing. Like, he killed Cade, he was our worst enemy, and we hated him. And we killed him with Petra. But now he's back and he's our friend. And then we had pretty much the exact same thing happen similarly in Season of the Chosen, where we appealed to Keidel's sense of honor, and we made an alliance with her and the Cabal in order to fend off Xivu Arath's forces. And then, obviously, in Season of the Splicer, we had a big alliance with a longtime ally, Mithrax, and yet this is the first kind of real fallen alliance that we've had with House Light in a long time. Like, yeah, we've worked with Spider and Barracks and stuff, but like Mithrax is kind of another level and kind of this like revolutionary fighter within the Fallen, and now he's our ally. So it stands to reason like we would kind of keep this train going here, and we might find a hive ally to work with against something else. I talked about this in a video previously where we are now kind of gearing up to face a larger threat than just Savathun or Xivu Arath or whoever. Bungie is teasing something that controls the Taken and Scorn now that is not Oryx and like something that controlled the Taken before Oryx. There are many, many options as to, what this kind of entity could be. This could be like the Master of the Darkness. This could be something between the light and darkness, which is something Savathun kind of suggests. But the point is like there is a larger villain at play here that we will probably see revealed over the course of the next 2 expansions, and that may be like the final boss of the Darkness and Light saga. Bungie has made frequent comparisons to the Avengers and Thanos, as in, we are assembling our Avengers right now, which is not just Guardians, but also Keitel and Mithrax, against a Thanos-like figure that is not Savathun. So Savathun could effectively be like our Loki, which sounds weird to say at first, but like when you think about it, it is kind of a similar situation in that, Loki was a big villain and the big bad of his own, the first Avengers movie, and yet by the end, he was our ally. He was killed by Thanos, but then he got his own Disney Plus show, and now he's not dead really anymore. And he's, everyone kind of considers Loki a good guy now. Like, can you trust him? No. Is he going to betray you in some way? Probably, but he hasn't like murdered anyone important lately. Like, he's doing okay. So I feel like Savathun could kind of fit that role. So what I see happening is like so we could be fighting her directly in the Witch Queen. We could face off against her. But again, I also think she might not be the final boss, and the final boss of the Witch Queen could be Xivu Arath. I mean, Xivu Arath is like the big hive bad guy that even Savathun is hiding from, and someone is directing Xivu Arath to kill Savathun. And it just doesn't seem like to me that the most obvious thing that can happen is going to happen. The most obvious thing is we free Savathun, Savathun gets the light and betrays us, goes through Hive homeworld, gives all them the light, tries to kill all of us. She's the final boss of the raid. We kill Savathun. Moving on, that vendetta is settled. Like, that just seems much, much too straightforward to me for the kind of narrative that Bungie has been telling here. Again, I think we have had a year of learning a lesson about potentially trusting our allies, and even though Savathun is way less trustworthy than anyone else, like than Keitel, than Mithrax, I do not think it is impossible that we could end up at least on her side against a common enemy. I still think she's trying to get stuff out of it for herself. I do think she wants the light. I do think she wants, the power that we have of immortality or whatever, but she will kind of do whatever it takes to get that, and that might not necessarily mean wiping us out. Yeah, she was tricking us as Osiris. She did sort of invade the last city with Vex, and yet I feel like she could have done a lot worse things during this time than she did. And yeah, she was doing things to serve her own ends, but I don't think her own ends are actually destroying the last city. Like, I don't think that is what she is trying to do. So, in short, I think that Savathun is going to be a much more complex character than is maybe currently being presented both this season and for the Witch Queen. I will be actually kind of disappointed if it's just as straightforward as it appears to be, where Savathun's going to betray us, we kill Savathun, moving on to the next supervillain or whatever. Like, that does not really seem like, after all this build-up, that's how this should work. I might be wrong, and we'll have more to go on kind of as the season presses on and we learn more about her motivations. I feel like the season is mostly going to be her telling us things we want to hear. And like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not like playing a part. I'm not trying to be like the gullible idiot that like, trusts Savathun's every word. But like, I said this about Keitel too, before we really understood that we were making an alliance with Keitel. I was like, I don't see this ending with like us killing Keitel. And like, Keitel's actually making some really good points here. And then what happened? Keitel's our ally now, like, or we have an armistice or whatever you want to call it. Like, so that's the similar vibe I'm getting from Savathun, where like, even though you can't trust her, I do think we can trust that she is looking out for her own interests. And that involves not necessarily just like betraying us and then trying to murder all of us. That doesn't really seem like what she's trying to do here. So we'll see what happens. That's my thoughts on what we've currently seen from Witch Queen promotion and then what's happened in the season so far. Always going to be more to talk about, but yeah, we'll see what keeps happening as the weeks press on here. But thanks for watching. And Evie, you want to say goodbye? Evie's sad in her cone. She's very itchy and she needs to stop biting her paws. So until that happens, she will be in her cone and very sad, unfortunately. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.